Hello and welcome to session 9 of Year 5 Maths with me, Mrs. Furby. It's lovely to see you. I hope you're well. I hope you're ready for today. We are doing part 3 on rounding today. So if you haven't done parts 1 and 2, it's probably worth you going back and doing those sessions first, which is session 7 and session 8, because we learned how to round in those sessions, and today it's all about putting it into different contexts. So let's get started. Today's warm-up is all about making whole numbers and about mentally adding numbers or taking numbers away to get to the round number. So what do you add to 80 to get to 100? You add 20. Well done. So let me get the pen working. 80 add 20. What about 98? Nice simple one. What do you get to 100? You add 2. Fabulous. Right, for 35, how would you do that? I know that I would probably partition it and get it up to the next round whole number, which is 40. So I add 5 on first. And I know that 40 add 60 equals 100. So if I add the two together, I know that you need to add 65. So let's do 30 in the same way. I add 7 to get to the next one, which is 20. And I know that 20 add 80 equals 100. So I know I need to add 87. And then 76, I know that I need to add 4 to get to 80, and I know that 80 and 20 make 100, so I know I'm going to add on 24. And 8, I need to add 2 to get to 10, and I know that 90 add 10 equals 100, so I'm going to add on 12. So let's just check a couple of those. That's quite quick and see if we've got that right. So one simple way of doing it is we just do the calculations. If I did 13, add 87, and you could put the 80 in there, that's fine. 7 add 3 is 10. 8, 9, 10 makes 100. So it's always worth just checking that your method works to make sure you're happy with it. Right, let's make 1,000. So what do you add to 800 to make 1,000? Same process, same numbers. 8 and 2 make 10. So 800 and 200 make 1,000. What about this one here? 908. We do exactly what we just did with the partitioning. I'm going to add the 2 on to make that 910. And I know that 90 add to 10 makes 100, so I'm going to add on 92, and that will make 1,000. Same goes for 13. I'm going to add on the, I'm going to do 3 stages for 13. So I'm going to add on the 7 to make that 20, and then I'm going to add on, so I've got that there, then I'm going to add on 80 to make that 100. So then I know that I need to do 900 to make that there. So if I think about the numbers that I need, I'm going to need 900 and 80 and 7. Let's just double check that we've got that right. I'm going to do a quick calculation to make sure. So if I did 1,000 take away 987, I should get 13. So I'm going to borrow it from here. Okay, that's 9. That's going to be 9. That's going to be 3. And that's going to be 1. Excellent. 350. I'm going to add on 50 to make that 400. Okay, you can always pause the video and do them first and then listen to me after, that's not a problem. And 50 to make 400, and I know that I then add 600, so it's going to be 650. Again, I could check that in a simple way by doing 350, 650, and just doing it as a quick calculation, either in my head or just to check it or not. 7, 8, 9, 1,000. Okay, 760, I'm going to add on the 40 to make it 800, 200 to get to there, so it's going to be 240, and 8. I'm going to add on the 2 to make it 10. So I've added the 2. I'm going to add the 90. So it's going to be, I know it's going to be something, add 92. So I've got to 100, 992. For this one, I could always have counted, I could always have swapped it around and counted back from 1,000. So if I had my 1,000, I could count back 8. So I could go to 999, 998, 997, 996, 995, 994, 993, 992, and I could know that I've counted back 8 for that one as well. You could probably have done that for 13 too, counted backwards. We'll see. Right, let's, if that was all a bit quick for you, not a problem, you can always go back and watch it again. No worries at all. Let's go for the next one. So for today, you're going to need a pen and paper and your place value chart if that's helpful to you. So rounding, we've talked a lot about how to round, a bit about why we use it. Let's talk a bit more about why we use rounding. You could round when you go shopping. So I know that I often think in my head, right, that costs £1.25. Oh, it's about, let's say it's about £1.50, or it's about £2. And I round as I go round to check I have enough money. Very simple. When you go on a journey, you can check to see how long it takes. If it says it's going to take 1 hour and 52 minutes, like this one here does, I would probably say, oh, it's probably going to take about 2 hours. I'd round that up. It's never going to take the exact amount. You might decide to might get stuck in traffic, or you might stop for a cup of tea, so you could round up to give it a bit longer. For the crowd one, okay, whenever crowd things, newspapers, press, football matches often say there were about 100,000 people there. That's because it would be really tricky for you to individually count every single person in that picture. So they say there's approximately 100,000 people, or approximately 50,000 people there. You may well have been lucky enough to take part in a game like this, okay, where you have to guess and sort of estimate how many sweets or how many things there are in the jar. And that's a bit of rounding. I bet most of the time you go for a round number, you might say there's 200, 250, 240. Okay, it's not often you'd say, I think there are exactly 413 sweets in that jar. You pick a round number, okay? Money, they often say that we have donated 37 million. So if you've ever watched Comic Relief, Red Nose Day, Sports Relief, or Children in Need, they often say, oh, we've reached about the 1 million mark. We've reached the 20 million mark. Okay, every so often they give you the exact number, but they give you a rounded estimate as well to help you out, just to make it easier to understand how big those numbers can be. And this one here is another time one. Whenever you get instructions for things, it probably says in there, it usually says in there, takes approximately 2.5 hours. Now, for some people who are really good at building or have all these tools, it might take less than that. Or if somebody who might be their first time, or they haven't got the right equipment, it might take a lot longer. So they can't say for sure, so they give you a rough estimate, a rounded estimate as to what it could be. So that's lots of different examples of when we use rounding. You might have more, and you probably have some great ideas, I imagine, about when you could use rounding. So let's give it a go into a real life context, okay? So we are rounding here. To round the attendance numbers at the famous sporting events to the nearest 1,000, so that we know roughly how many there were. So we're going to the nearest 1,000. So I can draw. We're rounding to 1,000, so I know that it's going to be this number here, the hundreds that I'm most interested in. So if I do 70,081, okay, I know that it's going to be either 70,000 or 71,000. Okay, I've got nothing in the hundreds column, which means I'm going to round down to 70,000. Okay, and let's just clear this away and let's do the next one. So again, we're rounding to the nearest 1,000. So let's just make sure we know exactly what we're looking at. So we're going to do here, we've got 87,647. Okay, so we know this is the number I'm most interested in, so it could be 87,000 or 88,000. It's a 6, and we know that 56789 rounds up, so it's going to round up to 88,000. Okay, let's do the next one together. Can you work that while I'm rubbing it out? Can you start thinking about it? Okay, right, have a chance to think about it. Let's look at that. So let's make sure I know what I'm looking at. I'm still rounding to the nearest 1,000. So we go to so 54,367. So this is the one I'm going to be interested in. So it's going to be 54,000. That's a really bad comment there. 54,000 or 55,000. And it's a 3. So it will be rounding up or rounding down 300. Round down to 54. Let's see if we can do this next one just mentally looking at it. So if I circle the number here, I know I'm round to the nearest thousand. Okay, so 72,827. This is an 8, so I know it's either going to be 72,000 or 73,000. It's an 8, so it's going to round up to 73,000. And this last one here, again, let's see if we do it here. Okay, I'm not even going to write the options down now, I'm just going to say them. So the options could be 100,000, or it could be 101,000. Okay, so which one's it going to be? It's a 0. It's going to round down to 100,000. Okay, can you see how I started off by really using this, and then I tried to give myself a little bit less with the resources each time? If you need to carry on using the resources completely, absolutely fine. Keep doing that. If that's helping and that's working for you, do it. If you want to start thinking about how to be more efficient, how to do it in your head and things like that, then that's also great too. Right, and you'll go. So I want you to round these to the nearest thousand, exactly what we just did. When you're done, unpause the video. So I'm just going to show you the answers to that. Again, freeze the screen so you can see them. If you're getting them wrong and you're still not sure, go back, watch the video again and have another go. If you're ready to move on, let's go. So we're going to have a go at these questions. There's lots of different questions that we can pick out, and we've got to have to remember. Let's try that again. We're going to have to read the questions and make sure we know what we're rounding to. So the local newspaper at the advertiser sold 7,372 copies. Round this to the nearest 100. Okay, so 7,372, and I'm rounding to the nearest 100. So I know that I'm going to have to change colour just to make it really, really clear. Going to have to round to the nearest 100, which means I'm going to circle my 100 number, and it's my tens number that's going to be important. So my two options are going to be either 7,300 or 7,400. They're my hundreds numbers. It's a 7, and I know that a 7 rounds up, so the answer is going to be 7,400. Okay. 48,678 fans bought tickets for the Six Nations rugby match at Murrayfield Stadium. Round this to the nearest 100. So again, we're going to the nearest 100, so let's write my options down. So it's 43,678. Let's get my special circle and arrow going. So again, I'm rounding to the nearest 100, which means this is what I'm interested in. So my options are either going to be 43,600 or 43,700. Now that's a 7, just 7 round up, or 70, just 7 round up, or just 7 round down. Rounds up, so the answer is going to be 43,700. Next one. 4,693 blue cars drove to the Erkinson Bridge during a recent traffic survey. 7,564 red cars were also counted. Round the number of blue cars to the nearest 100. Okay. So blue cars, there we go. I've got the number here. I'm going to round it to the nearest 100. 4,693. Okay, 100, that one there. So I know it's going to be either 4,600 or 4,700. It's a 9. I'm going to round up to 4,700. And then the red cars. Okay, so number of red cars is 7,564. Okay. Right, fabulous. Okay, I'm rounding to the nearest 100 again. Circle that, off we go. So it's either going to be 7,500 or 7,600. It's a 6, which means we're going to round it up to 7,600. Last one, we've got 2 steps, round the number of red and blue cars to the nearest 100. So the first thing I'm going to have to do is add them together. So I'm going to do that over here. So I'm going to do my 7,564, add 4,693. If I check those numbers, check 64, yep, 9, yep, that. So 4 add 3 is 7, 6 add 9 is 15 with 1 left over. 5 add 6 is 11, add that makes 12. 7 add 4 is 11, makes 12. Do we agree? Let's just double check it. 4 add 3 is 7. 6 add 9 is 15, carry the 1. 5 add 6 is 11, add the 1 makes 12, carry the 1. 7 and 4 is 11, makes 12. So we've got 12,257. Okay, so I'm going to write that one down here, 12,257. And I am again rounding to the nearest 100. So the nearest 100. Do my circle and my arrow, so it's the 5 that I'm interested in, or 50. So it's either going to be 12,200 or 12,300. It's a 5. 5 rounds up, 12,300. And last one here, 2,368 red squirrels were spotted in the highlands between January and September. Round this to the nearest 100. Oh, that's nice and straightforward. We could do that. Where's my pen gone? There it is. So 2, 3, 6, 8. And I'm not going to do, I'm going to do that in this one sort of in my head. I'm going to draw my circle and my arrow. So I know that's a 6. I know it's either going to be 2,300 or 2,400. It's a 6. It's going to round up. So it's going to be 2,400. Okay. Finding those options, using that circle and that arrow is the most straightforward way to help you with rounding. Right. Okay. Okay, there we go. We've worked through those. Are we happy with those? Yep. Oh, our answers match. Isn't that great? Right, so we're now going to think about what is the most useful number and value for you to round to. Okay, so the answer to this question is it depends on the question. So let me give you an example. Have a go at this question. Pause the screen, and when you've had a go, unpause it and we'll talk it through together. So, Adam is planning his birthday party. He is expecting around 36 guests, but a few haven't replied yet. Party bag comes in packs of 10. How many should he buy? Okay, so Adam has got 36 guests, roughly, but he hasn't heard from a few, so the number could go up. So if they come in packs of 10, I would say that he'd round up to 40, okay, which means he needs to buy 40, needs 40 bags, and I know that 4 times 10 equals 40, so he needs to buy 4 packs of 10. Do you agree? Or would you go cautious and buy 5? Don't know. About this one. You have a go, and then we'll talk it through. Unpause when you're ready. Okay, so Usman is buying some food for tea. He only has a £5 note. The bag of pasta is 86p. What number would you round that to? So I'd say Usman's got 2 options here. He'd either round it to 90p, or you could round it to £1. Which number is going to be easier to remember if we've only got £5 to spend? I'd probably go with £1 if it was me. If I was in the shop and I was Usman, I would go, right, I'm going to round that to £1. So the pasta's costing about £1. Okay, just to make sure I don't run out of money. What about this one? Have a go, and then we'll talk about it once you've unfrozen the screen. Okay, so Sophie is driving to see her granny. That's exciting. Her phone says the journey is going to take 1 hour and 42 minutes. She phones her granny before she leaves at 9 AM. What time should she tell her granny she might be arriving? Well, if the phone says it's going to take 1 hour and 42 minutes, I would round that up to 2 hours. So there's sort of 15 minutes of leeway where granny won't get worried. Okay, because we all know that when car journeys and stuff, people can get a bit worried. So I'd round that up to 2 hours. That gives me 15 minutes for traffic, and if I was going to stop to go to the loo or to buy a drink or something like that, or get petrol. So if I left at 9 AM, I know that I'm going to add on 2 hours, which means that I'm going to tell her I'm going to get there around 11 AM. What do you think? Okay. Again, read this, have a go, and then we'll talk about it when you're unfrozen the screen. So, the Year 5 teachers are planning a trip to the local theme park. There are 84 children and 9 adults. Each coach can seat 40 children and 4 adults. How many coaches do we need? So, I'm going to say that each coach can sit 44 people, technically. Okay. 84 children, I think I might round that up. Why would I round that up? Let's just look at it through. So if I round that to the nearest 10 and followed the rules, I'd round that down to 80. If I round the adults up to the nearest 10, I'd round that up to 10. That would give me 80 plus 10, which would give me 90. In theory, with 2 coaches, 40, we've got 44 times 2, that gives you 88. That should give you enough spaces. But what it actually does is means that there's 4 children who don't have a seat on the coach, and that would be bad. So when it comes to people, we round up when it's specific things like this, because otherwise you end up not having a person. So you need to think about those extra things. So I would round the 84 to 90, which breaks the rules. But by doing that, you know you've got enough seats for the children. Does that make sense? Okay, because I know none of you want to get left behind on your trip. So when it comes to things like that, I would round up. Let's give it a go. Have a go at this question. So let's talk it through. Tiles are sold in boxes of 10 and Teddy needs 84 tiles. I need 8 boxes because 84 rounded to 10 is 80. Ah, why is he wrong? Yeah, because he would be 4 tiles short. Okay, for that situation, he'd need to round up and break the rules. Okay, this one's a nice sort of mathsy question for you. This is not really much to do with rounding, but we'll give it a go anyway. Dora needs 103 tiles. How many boxes of tiles does she need? So they're sold in boxes of 10. Okay, oh, it is rounding. Oh, it absolutely is rounding. Oh, my brain. Okay, 103. If I round that to the nearest 10, I get 100, which is 10 boxes. Do I have enough? No, I do not. I am 3 short. So she's going to have to get another box, which means she's going to have to get 11. Right, your go. I'm going to stop talking for a minute and I'm going to let you work this out. So I want you to answer these questions, okay? And when you're finished, unpause the screen and I'll show you the answers. So let's have a look. So the Dodger Stadium, they're the answers when they're rounded to the nearest 10,000. I hope you got that and that worked okay. Maybe use your place value grid, maybe use the magic circle and the arrow, who knows? And it's about £200 when each of the bills are rounded to the nearest 10. Well done for getting those right if you did. Right, have a go at these ones. Again, pause the screen, unpause when you're ready. So, Mr. Patel bought wood to make his shelves. Oh, what have I put up here? Let's get rid of that for a second. There we go. Okay, what is it to the nearest meter? It is 7 meters. You rounded those up. Okay, and what about this one? 96 pupils and teachers go by minibus to the sports tournament. How many 15 minis do we need? We round that up to 100, so we're going to need 7. Dave is building a set of drawers. The instruction says it takes approximately 2 hours to build. If this is rounded to the nearest hour, what's the shortest amount of time it could take to build the drawers? So you need to round that back to the nearest hour. This was quite a tricky question. So it would be 1 hour and 31 minutes, so just over an hour and a half, or 91 minutes. Okay. Challenge question. Okay, give this one a go, and then unfreeze when you're ready. So, Dev thinks of the whole numbers, he multiplies it by 4, he rounds his answer to the nearest 10, and the result is 50. What could it be? He needed to work backwards for this one. So all the possible answers were 12 and 13. Well done if you got those right. Okay, that was a tough one today. Well done. Rounding in different contexts can be tricky, particularly when we're going through so many different contexts, but it might be that you need to go back and watch this video again and just understand them a bit more, that's fine. But rounding can be used in lots of different ways. We've talked about how to use it. with how to choose what number to be round to and how this can be useful and when it might not be, and how to break the rounding rules when you need to make sure that you don't run out of space, or you don't run out of money, or you don't run out of time. Well done, excellent work, and I will see you next session. Have a great rest of your day.